My name is Dr. Phil Buckley, and I'd like to help you relax today after your hard day's toil. I'm going to read to you today from this book, Grasses of the British Isles, written by Tom Cope and Alan Gray and illustrated by Margaret Tebbs. Chapter 1, The Grass Plant. The grass family, Poaceae, ranks fifth in the order of size behind the Orchidaceae, the Fabaceae, the Asteraceae and the Rubiaceae, but ranks first in order of importance. It provides the grasslands which occupy a third of the world's land surface and the cereal crops upon which much of the world's human population depends for its food. Grasses are an extraordinarily successful group, and their success has been based on three recurring themes. 1. Their ability to adapt to changing environments. 2. Their ability to coexist with man and his grazing animals. 3. Their possession of a very distinct life form that remains faithful to a single architectural idea, but which has almost endless and often very ingenious variations. Grass taxonomists today generally recognize about 6 subfamilies, 40 tribes, 700 genera, and 11,000 species. But as our expertise in molecular studies, particularly at the level of the gene, has increased, the phylogeny and thus the classification of grasses has come under increasingly close scrutiny. Already there have been suggestions of major restructuring of the grass family. For example, the Grass Phylogeny Working Group of 2001. But none of these have yet achieved universal acceptance. Root, stem and leaf. In most grasses, and our own in particular, the life cycle is strongly seasonal. Perennials spend the winter in a dormant condition, allowing much, if not all of their foliage to wither after the extraction of any useful nutrients. But truly deciduous grasses are very rare. Molinia caerulea is one example. Annuals, on the other hand, overwinter as seed, allowing the parent plant to die completely. Grasses do, however, have a tendency to be relaxed about the finer distinctions between annual and perennial, and it's not uncommon for some annuals to survive a mild winter without any significant pause in their growth. For example, Poa annua. In contrast, some perennials can only be described as short-lived, lasting just 2 or 3 years, and these can be difficult to distinguish from annuals, for example, Bromus carinatus. In general, perennials may be recognised by the presence of buds or sterile shoots at their base. And almost any grass that produces rhizomes is likely to be a perennial. The presence of stolons is a much less reliable indicator. In the tropics, perennial grasses can often be recognised by a basal tuft of old sheaths, each with a burned tip indicating that the plant was present during the previous season's bushfires. The stem of a grass is usually, but by no means always, a hollow tube interrupted at intervals by a transverse septum of vascular tissue at a position referred to as the node. The length of the stem between adjacent nodes is called the internode. The node can often be detected by the presence of an external swelling, but this is often derived from the leaf sheath and may not be a feature of the node itself. A node that is exposed beyond the mouth of the uppermost sheath is more likely to be seen as a contraction than as a swelling, and is often dark in colour. The nodes tend to be closer together at the base of the stem than they are at the upper part. The root system of grasses is fibrous and relatively shallow. It seldom penetrates for much more than a metre into the ground, and often much less. All roots have their origin at a node. The main branching system of the plant and its perinating buds occur just above the ground level in tussock grasses, at ground level in stoloniferous and mat-forming grasses, and just below ground level in rhizomatous turf-forming grasses. It is relatively inaccessible to grazing and its man-made compartment, mowing, and readily produces new shoots known as tillers or innovations, to replace any aerial parts that may be lost by cropping. Tillers are produced from a ring of tissue at each of the nodes called the intercalary meristem. These tillers that grow up within the subtending leaf sheath are termed intravaginal innovations and give rise to densely tufted grasses. Those that penetrate the base of the sheath and develop outside it are termed extravaginal innovations and give rise to loosely tufted and turf-forming grasses. Adventitious roots are also produced from the nodes, and each tiller is eventually supported by its own independent root system. Adventitious roots may also develop from any node that comes into extended contact with the ground. Any stem that is lodged by heavy rain or trampling can take root, and such rooted notes can, by differential growth of the meristem, restore the stem to an upright stance. In a few species, one or more of the basal internodes can develop into a swollen, food-storing, corm-like structure. Stems that bear an inflorescence are usually called culms. The non-flowering shoots, which will bear inflorescences in the following season or later in the same season, are the tillers. The leaves of a grass are arranged distichously in two alternating rows on the stem, though this arrangement is not always obvious. There are rare exceptions and follow the normal monocotyledonous pattern of division into sheath and blade. This division is so highly developed in grasses that it contributes much to their characteristic life form. The most obvious manifestation of this is the way in which the stem and sheath are combined into a single structural unit. The participating stem is often so weak that it could not maintain itself in an upright posture without the mechanical support of the enveloping sheaths. In the early stages of development of the stem, the nodes are densely packed beneath the apical primordium, and the primordium itself is protected in a nest of tightly concentric sheaths. The internodes then elongate from the intercalary meristems, and the tip of the stem is extruded from the supporting sheath. The sheath begins at the node and is wrapped firmly or loosely around the internode. It varies in length from shorter to much longer than the internode. Its margins often over-interlap, but sometimes they are contiguous and occasionally they are fused to form a cylinder. At its base, in a zone known as the collar, is a pale meristem from which the tissues of the blade originate. The cells of the young blade near the collar are shorter than those towards the tip of the leaf, and as the blade is cropped, it can appear to regrow by continued elongation of the basal cells. An uncropped leaf will only reach a certain length and further lost matter cannot be replaced, but the movement of the cut leaf away from the collar during cell elongation gives a misleading impression of replacement. At the junction of sheath and blade, on the adaxial side, is the ligule, represented by a membrane or a line of hairs. Exactly what the ligule is for is still a mystery, but it may possibly act to deter either insects or water from entering the sheath. It is a novel structure in grasses that has no homology with any other known organ. It can be a useful aid in tribal recognition, but is prone to unexpected variation, including complete absence. On occasion, the base of the blade is expanded laterally into a pair of ear or sickle-shaped structures termed auricles. Other vegetative characteristics are of little taxonomic use. That's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed it.